What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Blank Online here today to chat with you more about some Black Ops Cold War. But before we get any further in this video, 97% of you guys watching the video right now are not subscribed to the channel, so if you haven't done so yet, make sure you click that subscribe button to be kept up to date on everything to do with Black Ops Cold War, Wars in Season 6 and more. Without further ado, let's get into the video. The early access open beta for Black Ops Cold War has launched. It's live, it's ready to go. So if you've pre-ordered the game on PlayStation 4 digitally from October the 8th to the 9th, so today and tomorrow, you can experience the beta before anybody else. And from the 10th to the 12th, everybody else on PlayStation 4 can play it. And then next weekend, it's going to be open to everybody. So Xbox, PC, and PlayStation as well. In this video, what I wanted to do, I've played a couple games, I've experienced the game a little bit. So I wanted to go through my initial impressions on the beta, and as well as that, talk about all the differences between the alpha and the beta, because there is quite a bit of change. The first initial thing that you'll notice here in the beta is that the game looks and feels a lot better in terms of graphically as well as gameplay wise as well. So as a result of my first couple of games of playing, I can definitely see the changes in the graphics. I could definitely see the changes in the way the game looks and feels as well. The alpha seems to have been a very early build of the game, and a lot of people complained because they thought that the alpha was going to be a representation of what we're going to be getting in the final game. It's obviously not that case. Obviously the alpha was very early, and it obviously didn't represent what we're going to be seeing in the final game. What we see here in the beta is going to be very similar to what we see in the final game, because obviously it's very close to the release of Black Ops Cold War. But graphic improvements and gameplay improvements can always be made. But from what we can see right now, a massive improvement on the beta, and definitely looks and feels a lot better than what it did in the alpha. So if you're scared of that, and if you were scared of that, your fears and worries should be alleviated here in the beta, because it looks and feels a lot better. From a field of view point of view, I don't know, that was a bit funny to me. An FOV Slider has been added here in Black Ops Cold War in the beta. I don't know if it's going to make it to the final release. It might be just a thing that they try in the beta to then either add or remove in the final release of the game. But an FOV slider is here. You can use it on console. It's something that's never been in Call of Duty before, and something that I see as a welcome addition, especially if you do crossplay. I guess sort of removing that gap slightly between PC players and console players, because PC players get the higher frame rates, higher refresh rates, and an FOV slider. So theoretically, if PC players use an FOV slider, they can see more of the map in their screen than a console player. So say if you were to put your two of your hands on either side of your head, that's what normal console players would see. If you move your hands slightly forward outwards, you would be seeing more in your vision, right? So that's exactly what sort of competition barriers were between PC and console, sort of being alleviated now. You can't necessarily help the high refresh rates and the higher refresh rates as well, and the frame rates and that sort of stuff, but adding an FOV slider definitely does help. So play around with that. The gameplay you're seeing right now is with my FOV slider on 90, so it's not too much more than what it normally is. Default's 80. I put it on 90, but you can play around with that. I think you can get up to like 120 or something like that if you want to, but that's what I have it on right now. That's what I'm playing with. That's what I feel like I'm more comfortable with, but I might play around with it in the future. So an FOV slider is there, and it's definitely a welcome feature. The Gunsmith has been vastly improved as well. It's a lot more statistically adept. So in terms of just having like those dots to see what's gone up and what's gone down, now it actually gives you proper statistics as to what your weapon's doing when you put attachments on, what those attachments are doing to your weapon, and how your weapon overall improves or doesn't improve as a result of those attachments being there. So if you're a statistics buff and you really like to go in depth with your weapons and how they improve and how they don't improve and that sort of stuff based on attachments, this is a very welcome change for you. Personally, for me, it is a welcome change. I'm not really a statistics buff or a statistics guy, but I like seeing in a more in-depth view of what attachments are doing to my weapon, so it's a very welcome change there. It's a lot more detailed than Modern Warfare 2019. So Treyarch there again, improving on what Modern Warfare 2019 didn't do. Now let's talk about playing the game. Playing the game is frustrating. And it's frustrating because of one simple thing. One of the things that Treyarch did here is they brought back disbanding lobbies. So in the alpha, lobbies stayed until players left and that sort of stuff. Now in the beta, the game will kick you out of your initial lobby that you're in for the game previously and find you a new lobby. This theoretically is because of skill-based matchmaking, because the way that skill-based matchmaking works is that skill-based matchmaking will take your skill level, put you in a lobby. If that lobby is too hard or too easy for you, it will remove you for that lobby and then put you in a lobby for your personal skill level. That's why I think that this is returned here, and it's not a welcome addition, and it's not something that people wanted back. Personally, for me, I really like the old way of doing it, just keeping the lobbies, doing that whole sort of thing, and then potentially just doing skill-based teams rather than doing skill-based matchmaking. But it's here in Black Ops Cold War, it's a feature there, and it's definitely contributing to how frustrating this game is to play. From a sort of general point of view, Black Ops Cold War is a very, very high potential Call of Duty. Much like Modern Warfare 2019 was a very, very high potential Call of Duty. There's going to be things here in this game, and I can see it being a theme throughout this whole entire year. There's going to be things that Treyarch add to the game that aren't going to help the overall game as a whole, but more necessarily helping, I guess, either Activision or their relationship with Activision by adding skill-based matchmaking to keep the casuals playing and all that sort of stuff. With this feature being there and with no one asking for this feature to come back, it's genuinely just something that they were going to add in the game anyway. I think because the alpha was such an early build, they had the traditional lobbies system, and then now I think it was always destined to be like this. I think the matchmaking was always destined to be a disbanding lobby system rather than them keeping the lobbies around. And since the beta is going to be an accurate representation somewhat of what we're going to be seeing in the final game, I think that disbanding lobbies is going to be a thing this year. Again, we can't necessarily test skill-based matchmaking here in the beta because we don't have all the game files, and we don't have a large enough sort of range for us to test it, but it's there, and I feel like it's there, and I think that it feels a lot like ranked play rather than just normal pubs at this moment in time. Obviously, because it is a early access open beta, so the people that are playing the game right now are gonna be a lot more sweaty than the people that will be there in the open beta and that sort of stuff as well, because the people that are playing right now have pre-ordered the game, are most likely a fan of Call of Duty, and most likely have been playing Call of Duty for quite a number of years now. So I guess the player pool here in the early access beta is a lot sweatier than what you would expect, say, in the final game in the open beta as well. But in saying that, still, it definitely feels a lot sweatier. It definitely feels like ranked play. Games feel a lot harder, and winning games feels a lot harder as well. I don't know if it's just me or if it's down to skill-based matchmaking or whatever it's down to. Games feel a lot harder to win, and I feel like it's also down to, I made a whole video about it talking about how the sort of curse that Modern Warfare 2019 put onto Black Ops Cold War, the idea that since most of the games that we play and most of the modes we're playing here in the beta are objective modes, people just aren't playing objectives. So it's for me, I guess, I'm finding it a lot harder to win games, capture flags, pick up tags, all that sort of stuff. People just want to prolong the game to get more kills. And I get it, like, it's understandable that it's just a beta, so stats don't necessarily matter. But in saying that as well, if people are playing like this in a beta, they're going to be playing like this in the final game as well. So I think that this year with Black Ops Cold War, it's going to be very dependent on you running with the party. Because if you're running with a party, you can play the objective and you can win games. If you really want to win games, I think that this year this is going to be the way to do it. So run with friends and run with the party. I think it's going to be hard to pub stomp this year in Black Ops Cold War. I don't think it's going to be as easy as it has been in previous years, especially in years previously, like in 2012, 2013 with Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 3, all that sort of stuff. I don't think this is going to be a game for it. I think that Black Ops Cold War is going to be a game for parties and teams and that sort of stuff. And if you actually genuinely want to win pub games, you're going to have to sweat it out a little bit. I don't know. It's hard because in being a Call of Duty player for so long, and then feeling like this with this game, it's sort of dampened my excitement for Black Ops Cold War, because it's going to be a game that's not necessarily tailored to playing objective, although the score streak system is there, and although there's a lot of things in place, I don't think that people and the way that the game promotes things is necessarily tailored towards objective play, therefore people won't do it. So this year, again, as I've been saying, run with the party. Even in the beta, run with the party, because if you want to win games, that's what you're going to have to do. People in pubs and random people you team up with won't play objectives, and if they do, it'll be a very, very rare case. The gameplay you're watching right now is of people playing objective, and that is one game out of, I think I've played like 6 games so far, And every 6 game and the 5 out of the 6 games, everyone was ignoring objective, running away from tags, running away from flags, letting the enemy team capture the B flag or the A flag or whatever flag, and only capturing and doing objectives when it's convenient to prolong the game. So that's a worry here in Black Ops Cold War as well. General feel of the game though, it feels really good. The guns feel good. The overall feel of the game, very, very nice, very smooth. But everything else, I don't know. Black Ops Cold War, it has the potential to be a very, very good Call of Duty game. I'm just scared of what skill-based matchmaking is going to do to it. I'm just scared of what the overall player base in terms of playing the objectives and the pub games as a whole is how that's gonna affect the overall life cycle of this game, because I can genuinely see another Modern Warfare 2019 on our hands. Not in terms of safe spaces and that sort of stuff, in terms of a game with a bunch of potential that is ruined by little bits and pieces in terms of gameplay aspects and mechanics that don't necessarily help the game be a prolonging one. But that's only a first impression. We've only played the beta for a little bit now, and we haven't even got into the final game yet, so I'm gonna withhold all sort of judgment and a final definitive opinion on the game until we get the game in our hands. But for now, it's fun when you're playing a game with people who are playing the objectives, and it's fun when the whole game isn't sweating it out, and those are very specific parameters for having fun. But as I said, Black Ops Cold War has a lot of potential, but I'll leave it there. I'll be making a lot of videos over the weekend about Black Ops Cold War and throughout the week until we get to weekend 2 as well. But before I get any further, I just want to say that we are very, very close to 1,000 subscribers. So if you're watching the video right now and you're not subscribed, any help would be very, very much appreciated. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Comment down below if you played the early access open beta. Let me know what you think about it in the comments section. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions on it all. But that's enough for me now. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out.
Down, lost my friends, well I got more M's. By myself in a brand new bounce. Hardly recognize myself in these brand new lamps. Brand new pants, bigger pockets, brand new bands. On my neck, these diamonds dance. When I'm shopping, wear a vest.